Look, y'all know the truth. Y'all know what we here for. Y'all know what we come every Friday to do. Welcome.
Rant about Windows?
Rant about Windows and my settings and the fact that Windows is trying to secretly underhand me. It's a conspiracy that I will talk about, but not today. Or maybe I will. Who knows? We'll see where it goes, is what
Maybe.
I'm saying. We'll see where it goes.
It's not a conspiracy if it's fact. I mean, Windows hates you.
I mean, there's a lot of people that have been trying to say that for ages, and people still say it's conspiracy. So anyway, the point is, ladies and gents, welcome to episode. See, I can't even talk.
It's not just Windows.
Join me as I speak backwards in tongues to try to summon someone who can host the show. Okay, here we go. We're gonna calm. We've been having too much banter before the show. Okay, we're coming together, and welcome to episode 69 of the Made in Dreams podcast, Lotion Lobby Sales Bonanza. I'm your host, Mighty Vicious, and if you're slipping in what I'm slicking, then you know who else is here sticking. It's Jammy James, a.k.a. Light Roast, El Sippy Supreme. How you doing, bud? How you doing?
I'm doing good. Much better since starting the show today. Much
Indeed.
better.
Indeed. I'm glad to hear it. And today we're joined by the always eager and enigmatic Insane Alpha Beta, making his solo return to the podcast. How goes your day, good sir?
Pretty good after the El Slippy just called Jammy.
I mean, y'all know I got to bring it every time. Yeah, I have to. So, for those that don't remember our first episode with the Alpha Beta, let me give you a chance here to sit back while we play your role and tell us all about your creations, what brought you here as a dreamer, and updates on everything you've been working on.
All right, so a bit more to say this time. In fact, about 10 times more to say this time compared to last time I was here. I'm Insane Alpha Beta. I'm the creator of Vengeflies 1 and the recently Emmy nominated Vengeflies 2. And I am also the creator of an upcoming series called Evolution. As well, alternatively titled Heroes vs. Villains Evolution. That's full name, but it's mainly just called Evolution.
So
And that is what I had.
So take us into that. Take us into
Right.
everything that you've created, what sort of inspired you for it, and what has led you to now doing Evolution, because Evolution is such a different turn to the traditional horror games that you've created. Like, give us an insight as to your journey with Dreams and how that's progressed you to get to where you are now.
Well, Evolution is the reason I got Dreams in the first place. I did not get Dreams at all. Vengeflies 1 and 2 were not even anywhere on my list of things I was going to make, period. I had no interest in making Vengeflies 1 and 2, and Evolution is the reason I got Dreams in the first place. The only reason I made Vengeflies 1 was because of the Project Genesis Horror Jam, and the prize pool got to like $100, and I decided I can make a horror game. So I decided to make Vengeflies 1, since I already had a character I had written prior that I could just put the story in. Evolution, on the other hand, which I've not talked about before, besides the like 15 different posts I've been posting on Twitter every day up until this podcast, Evolution is based on a text-based RP that started 8 years ago today. This is the 8-year anniversary from the day that original RP started. And 8 years ago, we did like the whole first season in 1 year. Actually, we did several seasons in that year. And I was trying to find out how I could make this show actually happen, because even after we did the first season, I wanted to turn it into a show. And I didn't really have a way to do it. Even like I tried messing around in Blender. I started to get there, but then that just went absolutely nowhere. I made like a sword and that was it. I thought about using various engines. I thought about maybe trying to gather a team. I thought about trying to maybe join a studio. I went like through so many different directions. The latest one which led me to Dreams was seeing if Project Spark was even possible, if I could like somehow manipulate it in such a way that I could make it happen. And because I went to Lady Lex's website of Project Spark and she had moved to Dreams, it led me to rediscover Dreams. And the moment I saw Dreams, I knew I was going to use it to make this show. I think at that point, the only thing I had seen was, I think it was Rabbit and Boy, the trailer for it, that I
Mm.
immediately knew, yeah, I can make this show.
And
And thanks to the go ahead.
no, go ahead. Thanks to the pandemic.
Thanks to the pandemic and those stimulus checks, that was the only way I was even able to get a PlayStation in Dreams in the first place. Without that pandemic, not only would I not have been able to get a PlayStation 4 Dreams, I would not be in the better living situation that I'm in right now either.
All right.
You were gonna say?
Well, it's just every time I see this, this intro, this teaser you made for Evolution, it just, I love it. I love it. I love how clean it is. I love
Yeah,
the
it's
style of it, and I guess you've been working on all of it alone, pretty much. Like,
Yes.
yeah. And how are you finding that? Just because we come across so many people within the Dreamiverse who, get discouraged regarding like having to work alone when they know how much faster it would be if they had a group. Like, do you set it, like, have you really set a timetable for yourself or just a hope, but it's released when it's ready?
I am very fortunate that I have probably more time than most streamers to actually just spend my day working on this thing. Like, I could pretty much spend 90% of every single one of my every single day just focusing on it, which I am very thankful I even have the ability to do in the first place. So because of all the time I have to work on it, I was actually able to like set a schedule that I've been following that will lead me to releasing it when I am planning to release it. And as for working alone, I think honestly working on Vengeflies 1 and 2 has honestly been a secret blessing that I didn't even know it was going to be. Because in making those two games, it taught me a lot of the skills that I'm going to need to make this show, like taking an empty room and actually making it a completely filled and lived in space, and making different kinds of locations, and implementing dialogue and all these different things, these little things that I'm going to need when I actually start working on the show and making the characters.
Well, that's what I would hope. That's kind of what I'm trying to do now, but we'll go into more of that come later topic sessions before we start our Q&A with with chat for this episode. But so basically, is there a synopsis for this that you can give without, I guess, spoiling like your story, or is it something you want to play really
There
close
is.
to the chest? Okay.
I actually did write a summary ages ago. I literally pulled it up here on my Xbox because I use that to write everything in a website. That's a notepad. And essentially, the summary is three strangers find themselves working together to uncover what a strange government organization is trying to keep secret. A portal is opening, but there's an even greater threat on its way. That is the
Hmm.
summary for the first season.
Indeed. Indeed. So, I guess if we want to go, if you want to
Oh,
go
there's plenty
into,
more.
okay. Oh, yeah. Well,
Okay.
yeah,
He's ready. He's
yeah.
ready.
Oh, yeah.
Please don't feel like you need to stop. Just let out
Just
all your
go.
No.
energy for
Oh,
this.
oh yeah. I was just curious what was you going to ask next
Well,
before I go
I,
even further with the other parts.
I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna save it,
Okay.
and we'll see if we get back around to it.
So it is probably worth mentioning how, like, probably one of the most important things that this entire series and everything I put out, not everything, most of the stuff like Vengeflies 1 and 2 and Evolution are all in the same universe that is based off of a text-based RP that began 8 years ago. And so basically what this is it's taking that original RP that we did and converting it into a show, taking out the parts that I would obviously have to take out, and converting it into a coherent story. And back when we did the original first like 7 seasons, it was not really a coherent story. It was a bunch of characters in a place doing things, and that was basically it. So the challenge has basically been to take those first seasons because we started out just having fun. We started out just messing around, but around season 6 or 7, we actually started to realize we had created this huge universe and that we're actually trying to tell a story now. So we've been taking it more and more seriously. So it's mainly the early seasons them having to really completely rewrite, form a coherent story around it that not only tells a good story, but doesn't screw up anything else that's going to happen in the future. Which was, I went through all the original RPs that we did on the forum. I took note of every single key event so that as I write the story and the script is nearly done, when I write the story, I make sure that all these key elements that have to happen do happen, and that I also don't interfere with something and create some kind of loophole or some kind of plot hole later on accidentally.
Well, I've always loved the idea of like taking a tabletop and turning it into a story. Like the first thing I knew about that did it was Record of Lodos Wars, which is an old school anime, and it was done in that fashion. So I love the idea that you kind of had a story that was created through real decisions and characters that were played by real people. Like I've always loved that, how would you say, implementation of the material.
Right.
So that's awesome. That's awesome. And to have it in a form where it's actually already documented had to be a
Yeah.
huge help. But yeah, so um when is the release? It's isn't it supposed to be like
Season one,
November?
season 1 will begin on November 6th.
Begin.
Yeah, so like
Yes.
how
So it
how
is
is it
going.
working structurally, like episodically and stuff? How can we expect it to be released?
So at the present moment, it is going to be 8 episodes released weekly. So it's going to start in November and run all the way through December and be released on, I'm pretty sure it's Saturday? Yeah. Or is it Sunday? No, it's Sunday. I'll probably have to
Are you
recheck that, but I'm pretty sure it'll go on.
are you married to that?
Yeah.
How long are these episodes?
That solely depends on how they go because I'm one thing I'm not strict on is how long or short the episodes are. I'm not confined to like they all have to be at least, or rather they don't have to be the same amount of time because there could be an episode that's like 6 minutes long, there could be an episode that's like 10 minutes long depending on what the episode needs it to be.
Okay,
So
I
I'm not
like that. I
married to
like that.
any, right, so I'm not married to anything being a specific amount. It's just going to be on an episode by episode basis. Whatever the episode needs to be, that's what it will be. Admittedly, I don't want it to be very short. Like, I don't want episode to be like 4 minutes long, for
Yeah.
example. But besides that, pretty much whatever the episode needs to be. One week you might get a 6 minute episode. Next week you might get a 15-minute episode.
Okay.
But I've made this schedule in such a way so that not only do I have time to work on everything, I also have plenty of time in case something takes longer than I think it will.
Yeah.
So I have like a lot of padding there as well. So by the time I get to November, there's more than enough time to have it ready to do it the way I'm wanting to do it.
Word.
Okay.
Word. I know Jamie started grinning when I was
Oh.
when you said the weekly release,
Right.
because he
It's
knows
not gonna.
he knows how I feel about such things.
Yeah, as
Right.
why
But-
I'm a binger. I don't normally, when it comes to TV shows, if it's released weekly, I will just wait for it to run and then I'll watch
And that's
it all.
perfectly fine.
I have to watch it all in one go. But for this though, I will watch it weekly when it does come out.
Yeah. Like
Okay.
this is something just because of the format and platform that I do think
Yeah.
would lend itself well to
absolutely.
that release
Right.
schedule. You know, unlike what was it, 2.5 months of Boba Fett only for me and my wife to be able to watch it all last night in one night and go to bed on
Yeah,
time.
see, I have
Like a
not watched it
Mm.
yet because of that. Like, I need to watch it all in one go.
yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like it's over
Mm.
now, and
Oh, it
yeah,
is?
we
Okay,
we
good.
watched it
Now I can
all
start
last
watching
night.
then.
Yeah, so Crush Comb, don't start. No, I see you in chat. Don't start. This is the conversation that I don't want to take the rest of the episode. So let's not. But welcome
So,
everybody. If I missed your entrance into the chat, this is me acknowledging and saying thank you for joining us today. Um,
but
so
how many episodes do you have any episodes created yet, or are you just gonna sort of create this as you roll up to your November release date? Like, how is the actual development going?
So essentially, I have I know when the script will generally be finished. I know when the characters will be, when I'll start working on the characters and getting them done. And also when I send the actual dialogue to the people that are going to voice the characters. And also I know when I'm going to animate them and all the way up until November. I have all that planned out.
Wow.
And because of my better living situation, because of that, I will be able to actually stick to it as well.
Yeah, I
And
actually
because of all the things I learned with making Vengeful Eyes, a lot of stuff that I am prepared for taking longer than I thought is not there's gonna be things that will probably take longer, but there's also gonna be things that are not gonna take nearly as long as I'm planning them to take. And a lot of that is thanks to how amazing Dreams is and how quickly you can just put a scene together.
I,
Honestly, I genuinely think that the longest parts are going to be making the characters and the animation. I think that's going to be the longest parts of it.
I gotta commend you for your confidence. Like, you've got all of this work ahead of you, and like, November does seem like a long way away, but it will soon creep up. You know how time flies.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
yeah, I mean, totes to you for giving a date and
thank you.
everything when you're still developing it, and it seems like you've still got a ways to go, but like your situation allows you to spend this time on Dreams, so I can see why you've done it that way, and yeah, I hope it all works out.
I would be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that this show was supposed to come out last year. That I
Okay.
originally planned it to come out November 7th of last year, and I was not able to do that because of the way my life was at that point.
Mm.
I didn't, you see, I basically learned around December, January that I would be leaving my very crappy family, my mom and brother, and I learned that I would basically be able to leave them once the stimulus check came in. I didn't know when that check would come in, but I had the idea that, okay, if I'm going to be getting out of here and getting to a much better place, then it would be smarter for me to wait on working on the show.
Mm.
Because once I get there, I'm going to be in a much better headspace, and thus what I make is going to be better overall. So I decided I will wait until I get there. And even and I had moved here in April, and I had made a schedule that would allow me to get the show done. Of course, if I worked on it every single day, which wanting to do this at that point for 7 years, no shortage of passion to make this thing. And so even up until Dreamscom, I was very confident I'm definitely going to make it to November. What I wasn't prepared for was how long the process would take of adapting to this completely new way of life, because I've been living the same life for 26 years, and I didn't know how long it would take me to adapt to that. And it took a lot longer than I thought it would. It wasn't until October when I was finally getting back into really creating things in Dreams. It took me till October to actually continue working on Vengeful Eyes 2, actually. And I was able to get that finished in November and get that out. But
so
that is ultimately. Go ahead.
well, I was gonna say, uh, and it took you that long to get back in because of just the life changes, or
Yeah, just adapting to everything, because going from that, obviously I don't like my mom and brother. I kind of despise them. But there was this kind of security there that I'm with my family. I know nothing is really going to happen. And there was this comfort there. But this is completely different. Not only do I have the freedom to do things like this and not have to worry about anyone bugging me about what I'm doing or why I'm doing it, or questioning me if showing my face is a good idea, but not only that, but just like there's a lot less feeling of security now, but I've slowly grown okay with that over time. And I'm slowly becoming more and more comfortable. And that took a long time to slowly change because, like I said, for 26 years, my life had never changed. It was basically the same super duper sheltered kind of life that maybe we can get into on an episode of the Unexamined Life podcast at some point in the future. And that transition of going from that life, that way of living to this just took a lot longer. I just wasn't really in the mood to create. I didn't really have that same drive I did before I moved. And by October, I knew it wasn't coming out. And it was then when I finally got the drive to create things again, and I cranked out Vengeful Eyes 2. I got that finished. And so that's when I finally got to swing of things, and then I prepared my schedule for this year and decided I was going to release it at the next November. Because one of the things I do want is for this to be an annual thing. I want people in Dreams and whoever watches it on YouTube to know every November, Evolution's there. I want that to be a consistent thing that people know about in Dreams. That whenever November rolls around, Evolution's going to be there every year. Because we RP'd over the last 8 years a total of, currently counting the 2 that don't have a number, 18 seasons.
Wow.
So, yeah, we've done 18 total seasons with plans all the way up until season 21 at this point. So that's about 20 plus years of content ready to be crafted in Dreams on a yearly basis.
Wow. Yeah.
So
And
I got some catching up to do.
let me ask: is Dreams the end game?
Yes, 100%. No question.
All right.
I am here for the long haul, and I am here until the end.
That's
I
what I
like
like
it.
to hear.
Like,
Yep. I like it.
there are a lot of people I know who don't have Dreams their end game, and they want to use it to get to other things. But for me, this is my home now, and Evolution's going to be here, and any Evolution games is going to be here in Dreams.
I like it.
Yeah. We'll see. I mean, the reason I say we'll see is because things change always. But
True.
I feel like if Papa Sony comes up and is like, "We see what you've been doing. We want to take that into the mainstream." Like, are you gonna be like, "Nah, I'm good. I got Dreams. I can retain complete control here."
Put it to you this
I'm
way.
good.
If Sony wants to try and take my baby from me, they'll take it from my cold, dead hands.
But will it be cold because you're on your way to the penthouse, or will it be cold? Did they just catch you outside? This is kind of where I'm leading to right now. Like, there's a couple ways it could be cold. I'm just saying.
That is true.
Yeah, but no,
Basically,
I
a
get
way
what
of
you're saying. I'm just
right.
This is just my mood today.
Oh, penthouse really does sound nice.
See, that's what I'm saying.
See, that's it. Money
You never know.
talks.
You're like,
Money
I feel
talks.
really comfortable where I am right now. But in 5 years, at the end of season 10, you might be like,
at the end of season 10.
it might be really nice if I'm just saying. I mean, I would say even if it did get pushed into the mainstream, it'd still be done in Dreams. So it doesn't
absolutely.
necessarily mean that you're leaving
Essentially,
Dreams.
what I mean is, if they try to take it in their own direction, I would do everything in my power to stop that, because they don't know where it's supposed to go. I do, story-wise. But if I'm the one working on it and I have the full creative whatevers of it, then that might be another story.
All right.
All right.
Well,
I have no
Let's see
idea
how
though.
let's
That
see how
is
season
10
one
years
goes.
from now. I say that, but I'm gonna be making like 20 years from now. I'm gonna be like season 20's here. And also, before I
go
forget,
ahead.
I would also be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that this whole RP was made by just 3 people, myself and my 2 people who started out. I didn't even know them at first. I had no idea who they were. I had joined the forum like a day prior. I joined the forum on February 10th. I participated in the first RP the next day because that's when it started. I saw it. I'm just like, yeah, I'll join. Why not? And it has been, this whole universe has essentially been crafted by myself, Master Psychic, and IDEC. I'd be missed if I didn't mention those two. They are just as important to this world as I am.
All right. I'm not
And
going
they
credit where credit's due.
Yeah.
And without them, this show wouldn't have even existed. I probably wouldn't be the same person I am right now without this whole RP that happened. And I had something else. Oh yeah. And they chose not to be involved in the making of this show, and they've essentially trusted me to do their characters justice and to make this show as best as I possibly can.
They don't even want to
They
like
put
voice
their
the
faith in me.
characters.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they don't. I know they don't want to help make it. I don't know if they don't want to voice characters. I have to ask them.
They don't want to help make it. Isn't that the truth of it?
Yeah. I don't want to make it, but yeah, glad for you to go ahead. I'll be pleased to watch it.
They kind of don't want to be in, like, from my understanding, they don't really want to be in the spotlight per se of it all. Like, when I mentioned that there's probably a good amount of people who's going to end up seeing the forum, seeing the RPs, they were like, oh boy, that makes me nervous. So
well,
go ahead.
Well, hey, it'll be all right. It'll be all right. You are doing the damn thing, and yeah, soon we will all be able to look, and maybe after you show them what you've done, maybe then they'll be like, oh wait, now I think I could help with this. You know, you never know.
They'll be like, hey, let's join in.
Yeah, it's very hard for people to sign in on the ground floor. So I get it, but yeah, who knows?
But they do fully support it.
Good.
And even as I speak, we are literally in the process of role-playing Season 0, which is a special season we're doing right now. It's still going. The RP hasn't stopped. It's going to keep going. And it's going on literally right now. They are on the forum right now. I'm not in the part that they're role-playing right now. It's currently going on right now. As we speak.
Never-ending content.
Never ending.
Yeah. So,
and that's not even mentioning all the various side stories that I might make as short films at some point.
So yeah, you did,
which is separate from fairy tales.
You did bring up the side stories. Like, is it impossible to really be able to explain that without the first part out? Or
no, not at all. So fairy tales is essentially, it's not the side stories, but it is a side series to kind of go alongside it. And essentially what it is it's a smaller thing that's just kind of forever ongoing. It's not really a season, it's just a series that's just perpetually going. And it's basically just going to be short episodes about the lore of the world of evolution. Whether it be about guardians, omnipotents, stuff like that, the actual continents, the other universes. It gets kind of crazy. And also other stories that, there's so much.
Well,
that's one of the reasons that I'm not really able to technically do the next chapter in Vengeful Eyes yet, because the next chapter is actually a movie called Legacy, and I can't do it yet because if I did, I'd be spoiling like 16 seasons worth of lore and history. So I gotta wait for the show to catch up before I could finish that story. So yeah.
Well,
Mm.
hey, so what would you say is the thing that working on Vengeful Eyes like prepared you for the most to transition over into Evolution?
Hmm.
Because I noticed that it
That
like working in things, it's like a lot of the things that I do like just off on my own is just to be like, I wonder how I do this. And then like I
right,
want to do it over here, but I can't. Let me try it here. And
right.
you know,
Probably the biggest one that stands out to me is just the gaining a better understanding of how to fill a scene. Like taking a space a room that I do not know, like I know what it's supposed to be. I have not a clue how I'm going to fill this thing with stuff and make it feel lived in, and then making it feel lived in that same day, which I had a really hard time doing. Like Eventualized One was an entire mall, but it was very barren. There was like three different rooms. There was the bar, there was the library, and the convenience store. And I literally blocked off the other rooms because I'm like, I can't think of another thing. So I'm just gonna block it off and say there's something there, but who cares what it is? And so in Eventualized 2, I essentially better learned how do I come up with a room? How do I take that room and how do I fill it with stuff? And how do I make it actually feel lived in? Quick question. Did either of you play it?
I played Vengeful Eyes 1, but I am not a fan of horror games, so I did
I'm
not try the
glad you bring
second
that
one.
up. I'm glad you bring that up.
I am the
Oh,
same, by
Mighty,
the
it looks
way.
like you
But
want to say something.
no, I am the same. I am the same. This is exactly what he said.
Right, right. Well, I'm interested in what y'all would think. Okay, so when you say you don't like horror, what is it about it that you don't like? The scariness of it, or is it something else?
For
Because if
me,
it's the scariness, go ahead.
for me, I do not find the want for finding fear as a form of entertainment. I don't get it. It just doesn't work for me.
Right.
It's like that's just how it is for me. Like it's just yeah.
Mighty.
Uh, Kind of the same. Where it's
Right.
like for me, when I sit down, well, not lately, but when I sit down to play a game, I play it for different reasons than most horror games offer.
Right.
It's like I've had roommates that love horror games, and I can even sit back and watch someone play a really scary horror game and be like,
Yeah,
I
same.
get it. Like
Same.
I enjoy them playing it, me watching
Mm.
it, and we banter. Sometimes they scream like a girl, like my friend did, during and it's just like, and I don't mean that as a sexist thing to anyone listening. I mean he literally he has a deep voice, but he screamed with a very shrill
High
nature.
pitch.
He was almost as afraid of the sound he made as the thing that
Wow.
scared him. So
Wow.
that was hilarious, and we were on the floor rolling. So but I just don't go into gaming for that thing. But it's like not liking horror games isn't, as a disclaimer, isn't to say that I think that they are bad games. Because
Right.
No, totally agree.
just
Yeah.
because some people, I'm just saying, some people start to take personal offense to it.
Yeah.
And it's
Right.
like, no, it's not that I say it's a bad game. I'll tell you, like, I can't play Resident Evil games. I already told y'all the
No.
story about the first one and how that went for me. And, like, but when I watch people play the games, I'm genuine. I'm like, yo, that's awesome. I just can't be the person getting
Playing
that
it.
into
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
And so,
Right.
yeah. So are you
So
about
what
to
I
bring
was
up the bright mode?
I was gonna bring up the bright mode that's specifically made for people. I don't even think I've ever seen this in a single horror game that's I've ever seen. A mode specifically made for people that just don't like horror games. It removes every single jump scare in the game. Like usually it would be a jump scare when you die, but instead it plays Liza's just going with a dark screen, and that's literally it. It's not a jump scare in the slightest. And even the horror elements, like some of the more scenes with blood and stuff, is actually toned down and removed in some instances. there are certain spooky moments in the game where Isis would like whisper something to you, and I just take that out completely. And I know Mighty you had said something about maybe the game being less because of bright mode at one point on Twitter.
No,
And
what I said
go
was
ahead.
what I said
Hey,
was
man,
just to
hold
make
up,
Go
sure,
ahead. Go ahead.
just to make sure. It's as I said, it sounds like a good idea as long as it doesn't compromise the original
Right.
vision.
Right. And when I made Vengeflies 2, I made it as if bright mode just didn't even exist. Like, I made the entire thing, I made every single level just forgetting bright mode existed. And then when I was done, I then went in and implemented all the changes that bright mode would do. So I'm very curious what people who like Acert who hate horror games were able to play the game no problem because of bright mode. And hopefully more people realize that bright mode exists. They'd be like, hey, I don't like horror games, but this mode makes it not be scary, so I can play it. And that way people can actually enjoy the narrative and the story. And I'm very proud of that little mode.
I am personally not too sure how I feel about that, and in order for me to have an opinion, I'm gonna have to play bright mode to see
Yeah.
how it compares, because without actually having experienced it, I can't really
Right.
say. But from my opinion now, without playing it, I would personally say that it kind of takes away the whole point of what it is. Personally, like it's supposed to be a horror game. You're supposed to have the jump scares. You're supposed to feel nervous when this monster's coming towards you. Like that's the whole genre as it is. Like, you know, that's the whole point of playing a horror game, is for that experience. So I'm not too sure how that would work in a bright mode. But again, I will play it and I will actually come back to you and let you know how I got on with it, because it is quite
I'm
interesting to see you do a different take on it. So yeah.
I'm glad you bring that up because the reason that I was even able to do bright mode is because of the story there. The focus of the game, as much as it is on the whole scariness, it's also just as much a focus on the actual story that you're being told about
Mm.
this TV show host, and that then takes the full focus as you find it becomes more of a mystery of trying to solve, what happened to all these crew members, what happened to the Sahara guy, where's he at during all this, and this mystery of what happened to him as you learn more about who he is as a person and you discover the mysteries of what happened. So you can take out the scary parts and you still have a story to enjoy. And that's I see Mighty's laughing. I'm immediately curious what's happening. But
Uh,
because of bright mode, go ahead.
oh no, because of bright mode.
Well, not really because of bright mode, but because like I could not make Vengeflies 1 have bright mode. That's literally impossible since the entire game is literally just like roaming around in the dark trying to survive. It would be impossible to implement that mode in a game like Vengeflies 1. But because the story is such a gigantic focus of Vengeflies 2, I can actually make bright mode a thing because there's a story to enjoy and you don't have to deal with the scares at all. And that's how it works.
Interesting. Cool. Well, again, yeah, I will definitely give it a go, and yeah, I'll come back to you
And
and give you some feedback on it.
and also Kel's performance was literally just perfect. He nailed it.
Always.
That Kel's performance alone is worth checking it out for. I would argue. It was amazing.
All right. Well, that is now on my official list for the weekend.
Yay.
Yeah, I mean that is interesting because it's the idea as you were talking, I kept thinking of like how I come into the horror, and as
Right.
always, I come in from a film background, so for me, it's horror's always been that thing that's hardest for me to identify with because a lot of the tropes of horror are situations that are like jokes among the black community. like you know, I don't want to go too far into that, but just like certain things don't make sense to me and in other games, like for instance, it's like playing Resident Evil. It's like, okay, so Resident Evil 1, you come across this joint where now you know zombies are out here. They're just they out here. It's real.
Right.
and you come into the second game and you ain't got a gun. You ain't got a gun. You know this.
Yeah.
You know what's
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah.
And it's like, so there's like those little things where it's like so obvious the scare that's trying to be achieved that it kind of just takes you. I was like, well, I just wouldn't put myself in the situation. And
Yeah, it's just like super on the nose.
so while you were talking, the reason I was laughing is because you were like, it becomes more of the story of of like what happened, like what's going on with this TV, or what happened to the TV crew. I was like, oh, they gone. They go. And I don't care what happened to them. I'm gonna tell you why I'm not there. They out. So it's just that's how my mind initially reacts, where it's just like I just it's like I'm not gonna be the person that, like, one of the I don't want to get into it because I don't want anyone to take it the wrong way. But it's like one of those things when watching movies where it's like you hear a sound. And someone's like,
And they
oh,
go
what's
towards
yeah?
it.
And they're
Yeah,
like, oh,
yeah.
what's that? And it's just black people have always been like, I don't care what that is. I'm going the other way. Like,
Yeah.
I don't need to know. I don't need to search out death.
Yeah.
I mean, he's gonna come soon enough. So it's like
Yeah.
it just whenever like these situations get set up, it's like that goes in hand with what Jamie was saying, Jamie, lol, about like basically the idea of like how do you relax? Like now you give me a murder,
Right.
like you give me like a murder mystery, but set in something else or something that has horror elements but isn't a horror. Oh,
Thriller.
I'm game. Like
I like-
I
I
love
love a
things that
thriller.
blend. I love things that blend all genres. I think it leads to some of the best stuff. But you have the
Honest,
like me playing Silent Hill is like the funniest thing ever because it's just like, why am I here? What is
Why am I doing this to myself?
Yeah, like why am I here? Why are these walls so damn dingy? And what is it like? Why is this place so filthy? Like, can I just leave? Like, can I just go back? Like, but anyway, it's so
I
yeah.
could almost make an argument that that's what it becomes when you do have bright mode on, because there's horror. It's still spooky. It's still a little bit creepy. And you are trying to figure out what exactly happened to them. So it kind of can become that when you have bright mode on, because, I mean, Isolith is still scary looking. He still looks kind of terrifying. There's still a section where you're trying to survive, but there's no jump scare, so it's just creepy. So it is this kind of murder mystery where you're trying to find out what happened to these people, and also there's the little horror mixed in.
Yeah.
But there's no jump scares, which is the biggest thing people complain about.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just listening because people are quoting me in chat. But yeah, it's just, I bring in all these other things from outside into game. Like a lot of times I really wish I could like kind of let it go. Like I think the last game I really had tried to just be like, yes, this is stressful. Yes, you just got out of a 50-hour work week. You're down to move, but just try to get to the point. Like, get to see where people fall in love with this stuff. I think it was Dead Space 2 was the last time I like really, really buckled down and tried to play horror. And that was ultimately when that game started edging more towards action-y, but it was still not the third one, which was Jesus. And that goes right up there with that goes. I could play that one no problem, but it was, it goes right up there with what was it, Resident Evil 6, where it became like a action shooter or something.
Yeah.
And everything just felt wrong, and there was that monster with like a billion titties. Anyway, the point is, it's just, what? It was. There was something like it was.
I'm just remembering it.
Yeah, I remember it, but I remember that monster not because of the way it looks, but because when it showed up, my friend who was playing it, same friend who made that sound, same friend, as soon as he saw it, he was like, oh. And then it started to come towards him, and he was like, "Come here, baby." And I was like, "Oh God!" Oh no!
Don't do that.
I mean, I could go.
Internet videos to know where that's going.
Yeah, I really wish we had recorded it and been live or something because it was the funniest.
I was just about to say, you need a new Twitch channel that is dedicated to you and your friend playing res games. That would be hilarious.
Because he was basically, he was like, "Come here, baby," and then one of our friends was like, "Yeah, come over here." And he goes, "Nah, I got a shotgun." And my other friend was like, "Well, you better have a shotgun for each of these titties." And I was like, "Oh God." I'm just sitting there a part of this situation now. Because they're like talking as the characters to each other. Yeah. But it was random moments that are just locked in my memory now because it was just so funny. But but I have a shotgun for these titties, baby. And
I bet that really took the horror aspect out of the game immediately.
I mean, what little there was, it became a lot. And to answer your question, Jet Yeti, no one knows what's happening right now on the show.
No, we're just going with it.
It started with horror, and then it went into something else. Monsters. Yeah. I mean, I blame Resident Evil. Because they're the ones. They like blame them. Because I didn't come up with that monster.
Can you imagine just like being in the room, like, okay, what type of monster should we make for this one? And someone just walks in. I think we should make a multi-tittied monster because it'd be good. And they're like, let's just go for it.
Perfect idea.
Yes, let's do it.
Instead of elbows, more titties. Like I don't know. I don't know how they would get like, how does that guy, because you feel like in a business setting, if a guy did that, they just kind of look at him weird, and then shortly he would get a letter saying like, you're no longer with the company. That's how you feel like that company that would go down. But no, not Resident Evil. They're just like, push it through. That's it. It's all gold. Push it through. So
oh, boy.
You know what? I know how we got here, guys. I'm gonna let you in on something. I'm gonna be real with you real quick. All right? Can I be real with y'all? Can I do that as the head of this joyful podcast? Can I be real with you?
I'd be disappointed if you weren't.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm real all the time, but there's a level I usually don't go to. So yeah, Vicious never lies to the people, but sometimes I just don't talk about things. So the reason we got there is because a laugh was needed. Life has been a little rough. I know I've said that, and I've shared with only a few people as to how rough it's been lately. And just trying to think about gaming experiences where I laughed. Because I am so down in the dumps, to put it blunt. I am so down in the dumps that I've been picking up new games for like the last week and just putting them down. Just not able to really get into the mode of enjoyment. And it made me think about the topic that I wanted to go into for today. Because I really think it goes into a lot of... It goes into a lot of the conversations we've been having recently. And I think how a lot of people get to some of the ones that maybe sometimes the community doesn't agree with. So I wanted to talk about Burnout.
Not be confused with the game.
No, the game, they need to bring it back immediately. I could probably play some Burnout right now, like some real good new Burnout. Not to go
off topic, but Burnout 3 Takedown, I love that game so much. I miss it.
It's because it was amazing. I mean, I hate racing games. You want to know something? I don't play more than like horror games, racing games. But when you get something right, it has the power to make me shut up. Which not many things can do.
Burnout made you shut up.
Burnout was like Burnout and that game. What was that other racing one? Split Second, I think it was called.
Yeah.
The one where you'd be playing and then you'd be able to do certain things that would trigger events in the.
Split Second. That was a great game.
Yeah, Split Second greatness. But anyway, and so as I've been having trouble enjoying like playing games or creating, like really creating, because ever since Dreams came, I don't really play other games. Like I try
Ain't
to,
that the truth?
but I don't. Like it's just like I jump on when I have those few precious moments I talk about. I jump on and I'm like, let me see if I can make this. Okay, let me see if I can figure out the logic to make it. Didn't work. Okay, I gotta go. Like that's basically my play sessions at all times. But yeah, so I wanted to talk about burnout because, and going back to what you were talking about as far as like not being in the mood to create
Right.
due to like life changes and stuff, and the problem that comes about when you try to force it.
Right.
And I think a lot of the things that we've talked about recently have been really related to people maybe not even knowing, but trying to force things and then getting frustrated with dreams
Yep.
over it.
And
And so
it does sound about right.
that, I mean, does that sound right to
It,
anyone?
it sounds reasonable. I mean, obviously, it depends on every person's situation, but
Yeah.
Right.
to some situations that I am aware of, it fits like a glove.
Definitely.
And
It's
so,
definitely a thing where it's just different for everyone and whatever
Yeah.
someone's going through at the time. But generally, because this is for a lot of people, it's their first time working on things like this. And so they're like, I want to make things. And then well, like you said, they get burnt out and they don't really understand what's happening. And so they confuse it with other things when it's actually burnout.
yeah. But it's like even simple things that are like or well, not so simple things, but like frustrations with like having a problem with burnout to where you, let's say you lose motivation or you get
Right.
to the point where you don't see a point in working on it anymore because what's the point? It's, you can't do anything with it or whatever people, whatever point you get to. And it really comes down to like, I started to experience these things and I had like the thought, because I always try to think about everything way too much. And and I was like, huh, I think this is how people get here. I think this is how the
Hmm.
conversation starts to turn a little sour, if you will.
Yep.
And so, I mean, for people, I mean, I'll ask chat, like, have any of you really had this? Like, has this affected your play of dreams? Like, if when you think back on it, the idea that, like, things change in life, things go wrong. Sometimes you don't have the time, but you start to get burnt out, start to get a little bit more frustrated with certain things. Maybe it didn't come out at the time you wanted it to, or it took you longer
Hmm.
to create than you envisioned. And then all of a sudden, you start flipping and flopping. Start, start floundering on the cusp of, creativity and depression. And it just kind of comes out as like F dreams.
Yeah.
I mean, another thing like to consider is like Insane said is like for a lot of people that come to Dreams, the project that they're working on is the first thing they've ever worked on creatively wise, for a large scale project at least, and it's quite easy for people to be burnt out without even realizing that they're burnt out. They're just continuing trying to create, and that motivation's gone, and they don't understand why. And that's because they don't understand that they're burnt out because they've never experienced this before. And so you're just in this vicious circle of trying to get back to the original idea of how you used to create and how much stuff you used to be able to push out, and that's not happening no more. And I think it's just a matter of they don't understand. And especially for a community like us, where we're very open minded and we're open to talking to one another, I think that's where something like that can come into real good effect. If someone's burnt out, reach out to people online and share your experiences so people can help you with it. Because, if it's a first time experiencing it, how are you to know what's happening?
Hmm.
And I want to, just because I did ask a question, so I wanted chat to basically
Yeah.
chime in, and I don't want to miss their thing. So Afroman for Peace said, I'm getting into UE5. parentheses, yes, shame on me creating something outside of dreams. Not shame on you, sir.
No,
Not
Not
shame on
shame.
you at all.
yeah, not at all.
Godspeed, and I wish you the best.
Also,
Anybody
matter of
else
fact,
who's
because of cats, of course.
yeah. All right. So anything you accomplish, good on you, and don't let anybody else tell you any different. So I don't know if someone said something that made you think that, but no, brother, you're out here
No,
doing it.
just think of it as without dreams, you wouldn't even be on UE5 right now. Like, dreams was your stepping stone. I mean, it might not be the case, but still, like,
I was about to say you're assuming a lot, bro.
No, it might not be the case, but for a lot of people, I've seen it for quite a lot of people. Dreams was their stepping stone into traditional game engines, and it gave them the building blocks that they needed to get over the hurdles with the initial steps of these engines. I mean, yourself, you open these engines, and it's just like, oh my god, there's so much stuff here. What do I do? How do I get into it? And dreams can help with that. It can get you an understanding of logic and how 3D works and how shapes work and stuff, so that when you do move to these programs, you have a bit of backbone to work from.
Yeah. So as I said, good on you. And let's see. Jet Yeti said, yeah, that was one huge problem I had. Then again, most of what I make isn't going well. Jet Yeti,
No!
You know what?
We need on the show!
You know what? We really do. I think, I'm not sure if we're going to have an episode next week. I'm not sure. But if we do, which I'll be able to notify of probably at the end of the weekend, I want it to be a round table. We're overdue for another round table, and Jet Yeti, you better be ready to come on, because we need to talk to you. Like,
you have so much. Like, we could do a 4-hour episode with Jet Yeti. Like, he has so much to talk about. Like, so much.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like you have many. It doesn't seem like you have confidence in your abilities. I don't know. I've watched your stream. I've seen you work. You can do things. So I don't get where it comes from. Notre Dame. I don't feel frustrated with dreams, but I feel like my creativity has been stifled lately and my motivation is definitely down. That might be burnout, bro. I don't know. I've seen you work on some pretty expansive things and being parts of jams and all types of stuff. But I know for me personally, I don't run out of ideas. I've run into a wall of the ability to create them. Like, that's my wall. Is like, oh, I want to do this. Well, let me start working on this. Oh crap, I need to learn logic to be able to create that. And then I start logic, which I have been working on in the background of things, trying to just focus on logic and not work on things, just so I can get better at it. It's going okay. I've done things.
That didn't sound too confident.
Yeah, I was confident. See, I was confident because I got to the point where I started to understand a lot. And I was like, okay, I'm learning the gadgets. I'm starting to understand what they do. And I start hooking things up. They're working. And then other things I'm like, and this doesn't work. And here is the worst part of logic to me. I told y'all what happens. I get on dreams and I get to work on whatever I came to work on. That is it. And then I'm back out the door. So when people are like, hey, the best part of logic is figuring out why it doesn't work. And I'm like, but I don't have time. Like,
I just need to know how it works. So I can make it work.
I am a whole ass, grown ass man. I do not have time, and I'm old. I don't have time because I have other obligations coming in for me. But I'm working on it slowly. But I'm getting it, and I understand way more now than I did. So that's where my hiccup comes, where it's like, I don't have a shortage of ideas. I have a billion things I want to do and can't do. But like, that's how I know that certain things in my life are like really getting to me. Because even the things I can do, I just don't have that same vigor to do it. And so that leads to other thoughts, that leads to frustrations, that leads to thoughts like, well, you know what I can do really well? I can write scripts. So why don't I just, so I'm like, you know what? Maybe I just need to, I have had this thought. I'm telling y'all now, I've had the thought, being real honest with you. I was like, maybe I should stop the podcast. Maybe I should stop working on stuff in dreams. Maybe I should just sit down, get back to working on my film scripts and focus on that. I've had the thought. And I was like, but no, you're not thinking right. You're not, you know what the flaw is? Because that's not even a bad decision to make. But you want to know what the flaw is? The flaw is I've completely cut out fun. That's where the equation is wrong. That's how I know I'm not doing right. It's because it doesn't matter what my plans are. I can work on scripts and do other stuff and still play dreams. But my mind is cutting out the whole fun angle of the whole equation. Yeah. And so, like, that's where my hiccup comes in. So, like I said, I know for me, I just need to go sit my ass down somewhere. I don't really drink anymore, so I can't really do that to take a load off. So I just need to go do something. I need to go for a walk across somewhere, a field. I don't know. Anyway, so back to where we were. Let me see. Afro Man, sometimes life can be a challenge alone like this week, so sometimes you can't be creative. It's life, and I did get exhausted when I create something on dreams, like last week when I created a music video within 7 hours. Bravo.
Wow.
Oh, Jet Yeti. I highly doubt people would care if I was there. That's me.
Oh, come on now.
You sound like what's his name? Ted from Scrubs? Where he's like, no one ever expects me to be anywhere. Man, cut that out.
We want you. How many times have we said that we want you on the show? Like, seriously, we say nearly every week. If no one else wants you there, which they will, me and Mikey want you there anyways.
It might be we might have to put the explicit label on, though. Because I know we've had you, which is fine. We always tell people, you can come on speaking however you want on the show. We're not going to be like, he's so distasteful. That's not going to pass with the queen.
The MM Dream
have
Queen.
The lotion lobby.
Yeah.
I mean, that pretty much says it all, doesn't it? We have a lotion lobby, so yeah. There's an explicit button on Spotify for a reason, and we can push it at any point.
Char said, are you guys going to have the next sign-up guest schedule or something? I am going to do that, but I need to know whether or not I can set it for next week, or if I am going to have to leave town. So once I find that out, which I should know by Sunday, if you want to be on the show, for anyone who hasn't been on the show yet, all you got to do is when I post it on Twitter, say the date you want, and it's yours. So
I even think the date that wasn't on the list.
Yeah, he even said his date that I didn't get to. And we were like, yeah, go ahead. Notre Dame said, no shortage of ideas, overwhelmed with ideas, actually. Not enough action is the issue. To that, I would ask, like, do you run into some of the same hiccups as I do? I mean, not technically, because I know you're solid on just about every angle of dreams. Like, I've seen you work within every angle of dreams. So, like, what do you mean not enough action? Are you just not applying them? Or because if it's not because of some sort of outside thing, or if you, once again, like I told you, it sounds like burnout, but do what I have the hardest time doing, and that's stepping away. Like, Jamie will tell you, I've been here, like, burnt out and been like, yeah, man, I'm just going to take a few days off dreams. I'm going to take a few days away from everything. And just when I come back, we can get back to work. And that night, I'll send them a picture of something I'm working on in dreams. I was like, oh, and by the way, I created these things. I was wondering and he's like, dude, I thought you were supposed to be getting off dreams. So it's hard for me. Because for me, in my mind, it's like, dude, stop whining. Grind. Okay, like that's just my mind. But yeah, I need to learn to just put the sticks down, and it's really hard for me to do it. Um, Let me see. Char backed us up
And it's
saying,
different for everyone too.
Huh?
It's different for everyone too, because whenever you have burnout, for some people it may take just a few days and then you're good. Some people may take a few weeks. It took me, however, like 6 months from April to October to finally be good again and be able to finally work on stuff. So it's different for everyone. And if it takes like 6 or 7 months for you to be good when it comes to burnout, that's totally fine. Take all the time you need to take. It's different for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I
Char
do feel
backed.
like there was like, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I do feel like if
Char,
it
I
helps,
will get to your comment.
there was like a period of time where I realized, okay, I'm good to go now. So I think there's a pretty good chance you'll know when you're back.
Well, yeah, I mean,
It's different for everyone.
it's different for everybody because obviously everybody has a different circumstance in life. Like for you, you needed to move and stuff, so that obviously equated to the length of time why you need to take a
Hmm.
break. So yeah, everybody has a different circumstance as to why they need to take a break, and yeah, if it takes longer than
Oh,
you anticipated, then that's fine. You know, at the end of the day, this is creativity in a free form. No one, well, not for most people. You're not getting paid for it. So if you want to take a
right.
6 month, if you want to take a 6 month break, you take a 6 month break. So yeah.
And to what Mighty said, like even though I was trying to focus on my mental health while I was kind of adjusting to everything, I was still doing a little bit. Like I participated in Dream Flicks. I did a few things here and there. So I
Yeah, but
made
you
a
see,
Vengewise music video. So
that's where I would
like
say though it's different. Like
it is different, yes.
using dreams for jams against using dreams to create your own personal content is
Right. There's a difference.
two different types of creating. Creating for a
Right.
jam is like I would see it as it's a way of just removing that burnout, working on something
Right.
fresh, something that doesn't have significant personal meaning to you, where you have to fine
Exactly.
tune it and picnic it to get it perfect. It's a jam. Just make something and post it. Happy days. Like, yeah, you can definitely use dreams for different aspects, but the burnout is from your own personal project. That's what you need to take a break from.
And even when I made that Vengewise music video, it wasn't something I had planned. I'm just like, I'm gonna do this for fun. And I just did it for fun. And that's that there's a difference there. So there will be probably times where you still make a few things here and there, but you'll definitely know when you're fully, well, I mean, I think, at least I can say for me, I knew generally when I'm like, okay, I'm good now. It you'll have a rough idea, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
And even if you don't, that's still fine.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
take more time.
Just take more
Yeah.
time.
So I'm gonna get to this damn comment.
Yeah,
Here we go.
I know.
Char. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Because those are all great points. And yeah, it does come down to, how each person deals with it. Me, it's just really hard to shut all the way down. And I've never really had to do it before. It's just something, and so it alone is new to me. Like, the idea
Right.
of just being like, no, turn it all off. And it's just like, but let me show Jamie this thing that I'm working on. And then it's like, so yeah, it's just, it's a lot, but it is, a lot of it has to do, like I said, not with dreams itself or being, the things that people have said with like not having multiplayer or not having all these other things. It's just life.
Yeah,
And
life gets in the
Right.
way sometimes.
yeah,
Can't be
so
helped.
we do what we can do. So Char, this comment.
I know. Poor Char's been waiting.
2
Well,
years
no,
later.
he was just replying to Jet Yeti saying he'd care if Jet Yeti was here, and he said, "Hell, I'll pay for you to be there." Oh, really?
Oh.
How much?
Oh.
How much?
We'll take what do they call them? Cuff dollars? What was the shit from way back in
Oh, yeah.
like 20
Yeah.
episodes ago?
Oh my god!
Cuff
yeah,
dollars?
Cuff dollars. Dreams coins or whatever. Like
Yeah.
those.
Dream coins.
Yeah.
Crushed comb. The best part of logic is when it works. Amen. because
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, there's nothing worse. Like I tried to do Vince Cully's tutorial on how you basically how you shoot out the line to like grapple, and everything worked, checking my steps all the way up until I thought I was done. And then I jumped off the edge of the board, threw out the line, and then my character dropped infinitely into the void as if to hang himself. And I was like, well,
No.
I guess that didn't work. And I tried to go back through. I was checking each step in the video. I'm telling y'all, I really have been working for like trying to get logic on. Like I've been going through all of Tap. I've been going through all of Acert. I've been going through what Wuxi did. Like going there, I think a bit of Wushi's a bit of Wushi's logic was interfering with my logic a little bit. I think I was recreating something he probably already had there or something. Anyway, I've been trying to get up on it because I was like, I'm gonna create this little thing, and of course, nothing with me is little. Like it's terrible. I really need to. You know what it is? I really need to get rid of this Kevin Costner disease I have, where it's like like there's no such thing as a small project. Everything is friggin' like everything is just like the Postman. It's just everything has to be long and intricate and anyway. So
that's just you.
It is.
You can't write. You literally cannot write a short, simplistic story. Everything has to be filled with lore and background. There is a reason for everything. Everything has its purpose and detail. You literally can't. It's just the way that your DNA is written. You are literally born to write complex, detailed stories, and it goes against your grain to do anything basic.
To be fair, I think I'm kind of the same way. I love focusing on like various little details, and I like to create longer experiences. That's why Visualize 2 is like nearly 2 hours.
Yeah, I
love telling big long stories.
It's just, I mean, I want to be detailed. I want to have the lore. I want to be able to tell someone, like, or have them read it and know everything I'm trying to do, even if I'm going to be fist fighting my editor, like, like when the project's getting worked on. Like, I have to have it there. It's you know. Anyway, point is
putting in details that people probably won't even notice, but you know it's there.
Yeah. It's just like, and for the people that, you know, would look at, say, my movies or work, like, you know, I look at like the Wachowskis' work, you know, it's just like, I'm the guy that looks for those details. And when you don't have them, So anyway, yeah, back to that. The most recent bit of logic I was trying to do was Tap. Tap put out his most recent series about basically hanging from a wall, shimmying and climbing up on the wall. And yeah, it all makes sense. Like, I'm getting to the point where the gadgets that I did not know what the hell they did, I'm learning what they did. They make sense.
So you got the theory down and everything anyway. You can watch a video and understand the concept of what they're doing.
Yeah. And I even try to think it out myself. But like I said, when it comes time to implement it, I don't have a lot of time. So if I get it wrong, it's like, well, I'm going to go back and work on this other thing I got to do, and I'll be thinking about it during that, and then come back, and if that fails, same thing. Go back. So it's a long process for me. Afroman for Peace. For me, I've started with creating things for Half-Life 1 and 2, then creating some mods for Skyrim and Unreal Engine 4. Then I came in contact with Dreams. Yeah. So he started with it, left it, and now he's back because, I mean, you can't deny how great like UE5 looks. I will say I downloaded it, and even though I was once again looking at someone going over everything and being like, it's so easy now, blah, 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 I opened that thing up and I was like, to who? Who is it easy to? Because I'm not saying I was creating some like some next level stuff in Dreams when I started, but I literally said, I don't need the tutorial. Let me figure out what's up with this sculpting. And I was able to produce something that I felt right about. UE, I was like, I don't know who this guy in this video is trying to fool, but I'm gonna tell you, it ain't easy. Like it's probably more easy than other things that aren't Dreams, maybe. But it didn't do it. So anyway, before I get sidetracked again, let me see here.
Sorry.
Oh, good. No, go ahead.
While you're looking for that, I was going to mention, when I did mess with Blender, I was originally going to make my show in Blender because I didn't really have any other way to do it. If I had stuck with Blender, I could have learned everything, and I could have made it there. The show wouldn't look nearly as good as it's going to look. It wouldn't have looked not even close. Dreams is just infinitely better in every way to me.
I mean, I would agree, outside of the idea of what it will turn into. Like I have in my mind, there will come a point where, yes, I can say that without caveats, but I also can't turn down the power of Blender. Out of all of the things that are usable,
oh yeah,
Blender's probably the easiest to get a handle on. But saying that, when compared to most of the other easy is, it's a relative.
And also, I would have had to learn like things like
had
to learn like FL Studios and all these other things.
Yep.
And so it wouldn't have sounded as good musically either. Yeah. Plus, it would have taken significantly longer to make.
Oh yeah,
significantly.
Just imagine rendering alone. Like, imagine just the rendering.
Yeah.
Like the fact that doesn't even exist in Dreams. Like there's no rendering. It's crazy to me that exists. It's just insane.
That's another insane. That's another thing that would also make it take a while. Or like,
I got too many cups. There is a cup around.
You don't have enough cups.
There's a cup around here somewhere with a nice tea, and I do not know where.
You can't find it.
I thought it was this one next to me. It's not the big boy. It's not the cap shield, but it's there's a smaller cup. That's my water. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. So let's get to this because I think people are leaving us in the dust. Topaz Mackey came in, said, let me see here. Once I realized I burned out trying to keep up with the pace of other creators and just make stuff at my own pace in Dreams, I started having way more fun with it again. Yeah, I can definitely see how that would go down. I was looking at the settings. They looked off for a second.
Don't mess with those settings. Leave them be.
Yeah. Piece of Craft said, I've had those thoughts too, my dude. Yeah. So, let me see here. We have Char and Jedi, or Yeti. Yeah. Jedi. Are still going. Let me see here. Well, I don't have the money to do so, but it's just interesting to hear different thoughts, even from less confident people. Well, no, I didn't actually mean for you to pay. I was asking, why would you want me on the show is what I was asking. Oh boy, we're getting all the way into it here. Afro, every year I take a sort of digital break, going on vacation to remote places around Europe, road trips, being less online as possible, enjoying nature. I found myself randomly moseying off down the back forested area of my neighborhood the other day. I was just stepping out. I stepped outside. I had a cup of coffee, and I was like, I'm gonna go this way. Like I don't do this normally. So I was like, I'm gonna go this way.
No.
I just started walking. Often I think
That
my
is
soul's
so-
trying to get away, but the point
That is so not you. Like to go outside even is just not really you.
well,
At
thanks.
all. I'm speaking the truth here. Like
I mean,
such an inside cat.
Yeah, but you made it
inside
sound like I was a goddamn hut or something. My slaves left due to the pandemic. I have no one to carry me outside. Like this fucking guy. First of all, I enjoy long walks on the beach. Yes, I don't trust water. Okay, I don't trust the ocean. Okay, we got some problems out there. I don't trust nature because I don't have enough guns and I'm at a disadvantage. But I'll be out there. I'm just saying, like, damn, man. Yeah, I see you coming hard today. I've been taking it easy on you. I see what you're saying. But look, anyway, back to the point. Notre Damon said, I'm okay, Dreams. I still have a lot to learn in each space. That's everybody. But just burnt out, definitely. I've backed off Dreams. The weekly challenges are nice because it's 30 minutes of creation. It is difficult to commit so much time, even though it's something I enjoy. Yeah.
It's life.
Char took me almost. What is that? Oh, some reason the reply thing was up there and wouldn't let me see the 2. I was like, how many years is he talking about? Took me almost 2 years before I was good at Dreams, which is currently. Same here, brother. And I'm still not good. Let me see here. It's Me Juvie said I got to take a break from working on chapter 2 of Triangle. Triangle is Sentient. Oh, Insentient. Yeah.
Have you played Triangle is Sentient? Fantastic piece of work.
I actually have not yet.
Oh, definitely put it on your to-play list. Amazing.
Somebody go to the Discord and put the In Dreams link in there for me, so I don't forget by the time we end this show.
Don't worry, I will do it for you now.
Bangarang. And It's Me Juvie said beautiful beard, Insane Alpha Beta.
Oh, thank you.
That's a couple of times I've seen that comment from different people, as well as people calling you very handsome. Mister, I don't want to turn on my camera. Yeah, I'm coming for you. He didn't hit me. He didn't hit me with a body shot, so I'm lashing out in every direction. No, I'm just like... So, Char.
I mean, technically, I did stand up a few times to go take care of cats.
Yeah. So Char, at Mighty Vicious, I tried using Acert's tutorial on how to make a timeline.
You feel better?
Go to make a timeline go backwards, forwards, and my timeline froze. Yeah, that sounds about right. You definitely achieved altering the time. That's how it goes. Trying to work with, I swear. Anyway, Vorn Doom said, I feel you, Mighty. Yeah, you know that Kevin Costner. You know that Kevin Costner affliction. I know you do. Char, I don't know, not to diss on Acer. I just have no idea what gadget does what. Lol. Wait, he usually doesn't. He usually does the first section, which is like, if you don't care how this works, go to this video and just steal it out of this puppet. And then he has the second part of the video that like actually goes through and explains what each gadget does. It might be one of the old ones, maybe before he perfected his craft. Maybe I don't know. I saw that video. I saw the thumbnail for that video, and I was like, "Nah, you're not there yet. Don't even try to attempt that." Yeah, let's just keep it moving, brother. Yeah, and I was like, "Yeah, let me go to this easier one," which I also messed up. So, whatever, you know. It's just not my thing. But I'm gonna try. I'm stubborn like that. Let me see here. For a certain Wanderer game, wait a minute. I've hid some very complex Easter eggs, knowing well no one will ever find them. That's the best.
Creating though, isn't it? That's the best thing about it.
I mean, never say never.
I love it when you just scroll through Twitter and someone's like, after this game being out for 15 years, I've just found this new Easter egg that no one's ever found. Like, that's why it's so cool to hide this stuff. It gives your games life again. Like this game from 15 years ago now is being talked about everyone because someone found a random Easter egg that no one knew existed. Love stuff like that.
Vengewise 1 has an
Yeah.
Easter egg nobody ever found yet.
Well,
Challenge.
there's a challenge for you all now. Find that Easter egg.
It has there's like 3 different randomizers, and the first letter has to hit on I, and then the second letter has to hit on A, and the third letter has to hit B for the Easter egg to actually happen. IAB.
Yeah. There we go.
And there's a chance that happening every single. I don't know if it's every like half an hour, every hour that goes by every single night in that game, but no one's encountered it yet.
Interesting.
Again,
maybe someone has.
challenge.
Maybe someone hasn't. They've just never mentioned it. And now that you've mentioned it on the podcast,
Maybe.
someone's going to be tweeting at you now, like, I found that Easter egg. So
I would love to see it.
It's cool. I love
It's
hidden Easter eggs
really
like that.
difficult. You gotta get like mega lucky because 3 different randomizers have to be very specific. Because
go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
When one randomizer hits I, that turns on the next one, and so that has to hit A, so it turns on the final one that has to hit B. So it's very difficult.
Wow.
But it can happen.
I wanted to say hello to Canadian Jedi. I have finally gotten down the point in chat where I see that you came in. Welcome. Always good to see you. Then they had a conversation about putting milk in tea. It's not a bad move.
You're entering my territory now.
Yeah, it's not a bad move. I don't do that very often. I would say
it depends on
that
the
does
tea.
not sound right at all.
It really does. It really depends on the tea.
Look, it really does depend on the tea. If you're from England and you drink what we call traditional tea, then you put milk in it, and there's a whole other argument about how much milk you put in your tea. Like, I like my tea strong. I put like the tiniest amount of milk in it, just enough to color it. But again, it depends on the tea. But
just enough to take away the blackness.
Yes.
I love when you see like, yes.
This tea isn't imperial enough.
Stop, you violated the law. Pay the court of fine or serve your sentence.
White calcium
good now.
Oh.
Stop right there, criminal scum.
That's great.
All right, sorry, I couldn't let it go. I had to say it. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. Anyway, so past the tea and the milk and Canadian Jedi, we have MC Alchemist dropping Truth, which is live on your own terms, take your time, none of this matters, and comparison is the thief of joy. Exactly.
That's nice.
Exactly.
That's
accurate.
We should quote that. That's nice.
Canadian Jedi, I moved to a cottage country and don't regret it. Nature everywhere. Oh, believe me, I'm all about it. Like I want to be like, if I could dictate, which I'm coming up on, the ability to dictate where I'm going to spend my days. And I would really love to be just in nature somewhere, just away from people. I'm just telling y'all I'm gonna have a gun. Like, that's all I'm saying. It's just I'm not going handsies with a bear. I don't have time for that. Like, my joint is gonna have some ACERT level. Man, if you out there with a bow and arrow and you having to deal with a bear, you might as well just shoot yourself with the bow and arrow. Just turn around and just shoot yourself right in the chest. Like, try to scare him with your sacrifice. that's yeah. But no, I probably wouldn't have a gun, to be fair. Like, it's just like, I don't know. Maybe I'll have some like ACERT tower, like the tower defense joints just outside my property. This is like made in dreams. Anyway, the point is that, I love nature. I do. And nothing's better than being by a babbling brook. But I'm just saying, there are times when I just don't feel like it. Because those videos of people where they're like walking and you see like a mountain lion and they're trying to shoo it off with like verbals. Nah, that ain't going to be me. Just bottom line. Oh, what is that?
What was that? That really caught my eye.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure you. Well, you didn't notice the cat earlier. And I was like, here's Kitty. This little thing. Ta-da!
Nice.
Little plushie.
Nice.
I tried to find the Islets mask I had made ages ago, and I can't find it, and it saddens me. So this is the only thing I have to show besides the like 7 cats that are in this house.
Indeed.
And it fell on the floor.
Oh no. Man
It's
down.
okay. It's back.
So let me see here.
You want to be on the camera? Oh,
Spicy.
Oh.
What's going on, Spicy? It's a local man touches glasses. So, my little beautiful hat beta. Oh, they're complimenting your hat as well. Is there anything better than having your beard complimented? I wouldn't know those things, so I don't know. Tell me. Insane Alphabet.
I think you have a beautiful beard.
I do not. I will not be lied to on my own show. Thank you. But
I refuse the compliment.
I will not be lied to, sir.
You
let me see.
believe I am alive.
So, looks like some molecules are going back into the office more. Oh God, MC Alchemist, give me multiplayer or give me death.
Well, death comes for you, my friend.
My response to that would be, how quickly do you want to die?
How quick do you want this death to be, sir?
It depends on how quick you want your death to be.
No. It's Me Juvie said, don't we all put super complex Easter eggs in our games?
I hope everyone does.
I mean, I would think people do. There have to be things that come up that's just jokes. But with you, maybe yourself, maybe a team if you have it, you just decide to throw it in there. That's what I would imagine. Let me see. Jet Yeti. I believe. Let's see. Oh, wait. I believe to have a timeline go backwards, you would need a counter or variable plugged into the plate. Yo, you keep that voodoo over there.
Yeah.
You keep that voodoo over there, sir. Is that the extremely unlikely Easter egg? Sounds like a cool Easter egg. Okay, so I'm catching up to when y'all were talking about the Easter eggs. My intellect on logic comes down to me using a keyframe and a text displayer to make a pause button. That's about it. That's about where I sit. Oh yeah, it's an alpha beta. God damn it! How much more? Oh, I'm actually almost to the end of chat. Yes. Okay, so I can actually ask you this question without sacrificing the rest of the show. Okay. You put up this video on Twitter recently showing this strange amalgamated thing that you were doing seemingly on the back of a timeline, but something about a blood sun. And I'm trying to figure out, what were you doing? Because you said you would explain it, but you thought people wouldn't believe you. So
I actually made a video explaining it, but I will explain it again.
Oh, okay.
So at least this time I don't have to rush and get it under a minute just so I can post it to Twitter. So essentially, I had had a conversation. I posted it on Twitter a very long time ago about how I hate how when you're working with a microchip and you try to make it white or black, you can't actually change the contrast. You can't make a completely black microchip or a completely white microchip at all. There's no contrast with any of the colors. And I think it was John Beach had replied saying that it's basically not possible. It's unfortunately not possible. There's several reasons. And when I learned about the hooking a slider into the color wheel of the Sun and Sky gadget to make the sun brighter, I had the idea to see what happens if I make that number negative. And when I opened the microchip, it was darker. And so I made it negative by a lot. And so you can work with a completely dark microchip. Well, was it yesterday or the day before, Lee's lady had the idea of making it so you could do that, but have it be different colors. So if you wanted it green or red. And when she made it red, she noticed something very peculiar. And I might be able to show my PlayStation screen and actually show this to you. if I can get this to work exactly and get it at the right angle, there was this very weird visual effect on the bars or whatnot of the thing. Trying to turn this over so I can actually show. So you can see this thing, this weird effect going on. Hopefully that's visible, at least somewhat. And you can see that no matter how I move, it stays on screen. It stays in the same orientation. I can like try and grab this and move it, and it like changes it somewhat. I'm trying to do this with my hand. This is very difficult. And she knows that. So what I had an idea to do, I tested it with all sorts of other things. I changed the size of the sun. I changed basically everything. And eventually, it works on the timeline as well, eventually revealing the beating heart of dreams. And as we
Insane.
call it,
It's
the
crazy.
blood sun. Now, let me tell you what you're seeing. And I did confirm this with a test that I did, where this was literally bleeding through the dream's skybox. By the way, let me try and move here again with one hand. Oh God. And here's the sun. When you have the number like negative 99999 and have it red. By the way, that is some paint flecks I have around it for extra spookiness, and I have it raining blood because why not? And essentially, if I can maneuver back down here, what you're seeing right now is if you somehow glitched outside of the dream's flex sky that you normally see, like this over here, if you had glitched out of that with the settings as they are right now, this is what you see. This is essentially what you would see, and this changes based on all sorts of stuff. I cannot do this with one hand, but that is basically the gist of it. See, I like moved it a little, and suddenly it looks different. And if you like move it or change it or something to that effect, if I rotate it, it looks different. If I like move it around here, and essentially we referred to it as the Blood Sun, the demon lord of dreams, because essentially that's what it is. And if you had somehow found a way to now, if you had glitched out of the map and didn't have these settings, it wouldn't obviously look like this. But this essentially makes it visible and lets you kind of see what weird visual stuff is going on behind it. And so, yeah, it was extremely fascinating, and I had to share it. I had to share the good
Super
word
interesting.
of. That's why I made the tweet where people was like, because YouTube have said so countless times. The fact that Dreams runs on PlayStation 4 is a miracle. No, my child, it is not a miracle. It is simply the will of the Blood Sun. And there you go.
There you go.
All right,
Hey,
there you
there's
go.
the
Yeah,
explanation.
that's it.
I've seen someone
the will,
achieve.
The heart of dreams.
I've seen someone achieve something similar, like working with creating. If you like carve out like a sphere, but you
Right.
carve it out really close to the edges where it's still solid, but then you create a light source within it, it'll give that effect. Like in the dream, like in dreams, without like peering through the window to the blood sun. but
Yeah, the Blood Sun.
But yeah, I've
actually,
seen.
I
Go ahead.
lost it when I like, because one of the things I did was I made it so that the light from it was pink. And when I did that, when I was looking at where the sun was, it was like that because I had it on paint. We had figured out how to make it work with paint. And you can literally see the effect in the sky itself, matching perfectly with what you saw on paint. And it's literally the same thing. So that's how I was able to conclude it's literally bleeding through the skybox. So this is literally what's past it. And it's like a window almost. So,
Into another world, but
into the dark heart of dreams, the beast underneath that you don't get to see, and all the fractals and the little swirls within swirls. and the eye gazing into your soul.
Indeed.
Yeah. All right.
And welcome, placeholder, Cax, first time chatter. Welcome to the podcast. Let me see here. So, I think we're done.
I think, yeah.
I think unless there's any types of questions or anything chat wants to drop on us real quickly, I'll give you like 5 minutes to accumulate a list. But yeah, I mean, those are all the things I really wanted to talk about and the questions I had for Insane Alpha Beta. I guess I would say for the update on whether or not we're going to be having a podcast next week, and if so, it will be a roundtable. And I will say now that if I post that and we do go forward with the roundtable, there will be 4 spots open. We're only going to let 4 people in on this so that we can keep it somewhat under control.
Yeah.
Somewhat.
The last time we did one was huge.
Yeah, we've done one with like 30 people and it got wild. Yeah, so
yeah, it was mental.
If I could show this real quick,
Yeah.
I actually saved it. This is the Dream Sky. You can see it bleeding through the sky right there. That is literally the skybox itself. And if you see this paint right here, literally bleeding through, and if you see, this is what's there. And you can see it matching perfectly up with the paint there. So that's how I was able to confirm that what you are seeing is literally beyond the Dream Skybox because of this slider into the sun and sky gadget trick. Wanted to show the actual confirmation of that.
Ooh. So, hey, we're breaking through dreams here.
Basically.
Tearing the veil.
Yes.
Happening.
MM's going to send me a personal message telling me to cease and desist because I've gone too far.
I think they would just commend you for it. They'd be like, "Yep, they're taking it to another level yet again."
My mind was blown when I saw it. I'm like, I'm the sucker for getting out of maps. I'm like, this is so awesome.
Instead, give me sight beyond sight.
Oh, and that and that microchip thing I talked about, I released it remixable, so you could do your own experiments, make the sunlight red, and see all the different visual effects. The only problem is you can't really see it in game. You would it's only really visible on the actual microchips themselves and on the timeline and such. But otherwise,
so we had a Afro Man for Peace said, "What about your tree?"
Oh, right. We talked about that before the show, but not during the show.
Yeah.
Just haven't gotten around to it. That's basically it. It's just there.
I mean,
it's behind me because I'm able to protect it from the cats.
You could just keep it up now till this Christmas, I suppose.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, half the lights are dead, so I have to fix it anyway.
Though. It's so strange seeing a tree up in February. It's just, it doesn't feel right.
Char was asking.
Maybe I'm just one with nature, and I just wanted a tree right by me.
Yeah.
I'm just lazy. That's the secret.
The secret sauce. Char said, when plushies coming out? Forget multiplayer.
I mean, yeah, we are overdue imp plushies. We really need them now. Like, I think it's something that everybody would just buy. Like, I know I would buy every variation and just stick them on my wall behind me as an aesthetic for the show. That would look great.
I would die, not literally die, if I could have a plushie of my imp with me. Oh, that'd be wonderful.
Oh, wouldn't that be great?
Hit me up later. I might have a connection for you on that, fulfilling that.
Especially if I have the money for it.
I mean, we'll see. We'll see how it works out. I can only show you the door. You must walk through it.
You must walk through, my child, to the door of the blood sun.
So, yes. So Jet Yeti said, so how do you get... so how do you get a sun like that? Oh, is it just a slider into the color wheel of the sun and sky gadget?
That's pretty much it.
All right.
Literally, that's a slider into the sun sky gadget. if you make the number negative to get the sun to be red, you have to make the actual color of the sun blue because it's inverted. So blue will make it red, and I put some paint flecks around it to make it look even more evil.
More evil.
More evil.
And Afroman says, keep the tree 1 year and you don't have to decorate it or decorate a new one.
True.
Yeah, winning. That's what that sounds like
to
to me.
win.
So, with that, ladies and gents, we calling into this episode of the Made in Dreams podcast. As I said, check my Twitter to see about next week and what we're planning on doing, especially if you want to finally make your appearance on the podcast to talk about all things dreams. And yeah, we're going to try to raid someone. And
Who is available?
Kataya is on.
Oh, well, that's always a good choice.
We'll just go ahead and start that raid. And again, thank you everybody for coming through. As I told y'all, it's been a little rough for me lately, so having fun and speaking with everyone here is really doing me a lot of good. So thank you for showing up. I appreciate each and every one of you. Everybody else, y'all want to say your goodbyes?
Yeah, thanks for, again, chat being so engaging. I love it when chat is engaging with the show and bringing their opinions and interacting with us. It really makes the show a lot more fun for us. So thank you, everybody, for taking the time to really invest in the episodes that we do. It really makes a difference.
So,
and the only thing go ahead.
No, I was saying, go ahead with yours.
Oh. Don't forget to tune in to Evolution on November 6th. On Dreams and on YouTube.
I look forward to it.
Hype. So, everybody, catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.